Good morning, and welcome to another sunny day here in Winnipeg. Now, I got a comment last night from one of the viewers in the UK. I think it was Jason again, and he was saying that they've had 3 weeks of cloudy, rainy, miserable. Well, I guess I guess I shouldn't really be complaining when we have rain once in a while, right? Anyway, we had another power failure yesterday. And I had just been out for a ride on my bike. I came back, I had a shower, and I was sitting at the computer, and I had just uploaded my yesterday's episode onto the 1/200 scale model ship club on Facebook, Jim Steen's club. And oh, by the way, some of you on that club may have noticed it was about 15 minutes late. Well, I forgot I had to do it yet, and I went and had a shower. So anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of trying to get dried off because my shower is actually a steam shower, so I get hot and sweaty. And so I'm sitting there trying to cool down a little bit, and all of a sudden the power goes off. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to go back on. And I wait for about, I'm guessing 10 minutes. And by this time the air conditioner's gone off. So the house is starting to warm up. And I'm thinking, I may as well try and get my clothes back on over my wet body and go out on my bike, which is what I did. So first of all, I went to the south, and I could see the street lights were not working there, but they were working further down. And then I went to the north, and the street lights to the north, like where the pedestrian overpass is, that where we see the sunrise, and they were out. But everything else seemed to be okay. So when I got home, I checked, and our hydro people here and the power company here in Manitoba, they'll tell you where the outage is, and they'll sort of draw a circle around it. And we were right about in the middle of the circle. I was sort of thinking to myself, what did I do? Did I plug in 2 toasters at the same time? Or anyway, enough about the power failure. Another viewer made a comment that I find was really interesting, and I have not actually noticed this, but I think he was indicating that there are holes in the deck to accommodate those little tiny short pegs that are coming off the end of the stanchions on the railings. And I haven't actually looked yet. Well, I'm going to see if I can find where one railing is supposed to go and see, is there holes on the deck? Okay, I am seeing holes, but I think they're for stuff that has to plug in because they're really big holes. Anyway, we'll put the macro lens on and we'll have a look and see if there is holes. I imagine they'd be really small, and in all likelihood, when I was painting with the brush on the deck, I probably filled them in. But anyway, we won't know if we don't check, right? Okay. Let's get on here today. We're going to try and maybe get some of these baskets on. And somebody's wondering, what are these baskets for? And what they were for, as near as I can tell, if I remember right, is that there were flotation devices stored in them that could quickly be thrown overboard. Or if the ship was to capsize, they would automatically dump out, and the survivors would have something to hang on to. I think that's what it is. Now that I think about it, I think I do have a photo that shows, not real clear, but it sort of shows these things. I'll see if I can find it later, and or maybe I'll dub it in right now if I've got it. So if you're seeing it right now, I found it. A lot of what you see, I later on do in editing, but I'm sure you've got that figured out. Okay, enough chatter here. We had our sunrise. We'll maybe do something with that later. Nothing special. At least you could see it, and better than what they're having in the UK right now. Although to make you feel better, I do believe they're predicting nicer weather for the next in a couple of days for you guys. So, I was going to mention something else here, and I forgot. Oh, Corey's letter. When I was photographing it, I photographed the top of page 1 and I photographed the bottom of page 1, and I noticed afterwards I missed the middle. So maybe what I should do is, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, this is what I should have done in the first place. It's actually quite legible even on a small screen. I'm just going to get going here. I do way too much talking. Got another comment from a viewer, so he said something about 3 episodes now and nothing on the model ship. And he's right. He's right. Well, sometimes when you're painting pieces and stuff like that, you can't stick stuff on right away. At least I can't. So let's see if we can get some stuff stuck on. Okay, this is the G9 that we painted yesterday by hand. And you can see the little extensions coming down from each stanchion here, or going up, whichever way you happen to install this thing. Now, G9, it actually comes down and goes, well, first of all, it has to be bent a bit. It has to be bent twice. And then it comes down and it goes right here. Now, right here is actually right here. So this is an easy place to get the macro lens on and just move right in and see, is there any little holes? Because if there's any holes or even the remnants of a hole, the macro lens will show it. So let's do that just for the fun of it. I'm looking at it right now with my normal glasses on, and I can't see anything. Doesn't mean it's not there though. Okay, checking the monitor right now. So I'm seeing it now the same way you are, and I am not seeing any holes along the side there where this is supposed to go. What I am seeing, however, is a lot of dust. Just clean that dust away. And no, there are no holes on that deck. Well, I shouldn't say there may have been holes, but if there was, I've filled them in with paint. But there should be some sign of a little dimple or something there. And well, let's not beat this to death. Let's just move on. Okay, I was just thinking here, as long as we're all set up, maybe I should sort of bend this rail into shape. And yeah, I think it's supposed to be bent at that first post from the second post from the left, and then those three little extension rails have to be bent in so that they will come up against the side of this. Yeah, let's see if I put it like this. How's this going to come? Yeah, I think that's what's supposed to happen. I don't think that those three little rails though have to be bent at a 90-degree angle. I think they would just be very slightly bent. Or are they even bent at all? Maybe the idea is that they're just supposed to go up against the edge of it. Okay, so the first section there on the extreme right, it has to be bent also not 90 degrees. I think what I'm going to have to do is just do sort of a trial and error thing, and in all likelihood I'm going to be scratching the paint off. Okay, let's just do it here. Okay, I'm back. Now, you notice that the spacing between this rail and this rail is greater than between this rail and this rail. In other words, this space is less than this space. I wonder if we can determine somehow from the manual, is it drawn accurately enough that we'd be able to see, is the large space go on the top or does it go on the bottom, if you know what I mean. Then we'd know what Trumpeter had in mind here. Somebody else made the suggestion, why don't you just check Stefan Drambinski's drawing? Yeah, that might be a good idea. Okay, moving right in on our G9 here. You can't tell from the drawing which railing has the most spacing, if you know what I mean. But what you can see, that you need a magnifying glass or a macro lens, you can see that it does appear that they have tried to depict the little protrusions coming out of the bottom. To me, that's quite clear. So that's what they had in mind. They wanted these to go down onto the deck or the gunnel or whatever. But I don't know if I'm going to actually do that, because to my way of thinking, then it's going to hold the rail up off of the deck or gunnel, and the CA glue is not going to make as good a contact. Let's just try it. Yeah, stop talking and try it. Okay, this is not actually my first attempt at this. I did bend the rails in almost the right angle, but I'm having a problem here. Okay, it's supposed to go something like this. Okay, but it doesn't want to stay there, so I think maybe I think if I was to straighten these three little rails out at the end here, out straight again, then the rail would sit more on the edge of the deck. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to straighten them back out again, because they're coming up against the tub here, and they are holding the rail off the edge. At least I think that's what's happening. Okay, I've cut one very small strip of tape here just to, that should be all right. And I sort of straightened out those three little extensions on the end on the left-hand side. Now I want to be able to move this like this. Now does it look to you like the railing is up? Yeah, I gotta push it back down here. Guess the tape is. You know, I think that possibly this panel right here. Oh no, maybe not. I was thinking that maybe I had it bent in too much, but just the whole thing has to. Sorry to be getting my finger in your way here. I'd like to be able to just sort of hook in and pull the whole thing this way just a little bit. Maybe the other end of the holder downer here, I could sort of hook it in. Something like that. Okay, now is it down now? Well, it's stuck to the tape. Oh. Okay, I've got it back on. And if you remember me saying that if you stretch these tubes, when you stretch them, the end of the tube will become very narrow, or where the stretch takes place, that is. Then you can nip it off. And that's what I've done here. And my plan is to just put the tiniest little drop of CA on here, just on the ends, and then remove the tape. Well, that was a little more than I'd planned, but okay, we'll let that cure. Then I should be able to remove the tape, and we'll move in a little closer from a different angle and see if we can close the gap between the bottom rail and the deck. Okay, a couple of minutes, or maybe 3 minutes, has passed here. I've just got some curing agent. Oh, it's hard to put just a little bit on. Good thing it evaporates. Okay, let's very carefully try and get our masking tape off here now. Probably about 15 minutes has passed since I put that CA thin quick setting on there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and do the same thing from the back, only this time I'm going to just use the CA thin, not the quick setting. Now I've got to get it to start coming out the spout here. I don't think this is going to work. I'm definitely going to have to repaint. I'm trying to drag it along there. Maybe I'll use this here. No, the gap is just too great. Okay, what I'm going to have to do is cut those pegs off. Either that or place the rail so that the pegs are sticking up. But that's not the way it's supposed to go. Okay, I just had another thought here, and that is this, that what I maybe could have done is not bother to try and adhere it right here along the bottom rail. I'm doing that for a strength more than anything else. But in this particular case, I think what a person could have done is just not put the CA here like I've done right now. It's still wet. And just had it on the ends, and then just left those pegs, sitting on the deck. Now this one here is obviously too low. It should have been up a little bit to look good. So anybody that is doing this particular kit, and wants to do a really good job, and is maybe a little bit, their dexterity is better than mine. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Just just do it on the ends. Or I'm not trying to teach you how to do this. I'm just showing you how it's going for me, and you can learn from my mistakes, as I've said probably 100 times. Now, when we move back and start looking at everything in, you might say, perspective. Now, remember, this whole module that's sitting here on my dry dock is going to look small when it's sitting on the hull of the ship, and yet this part that we just put on here is you can hardly even see it. So yeah, I'm still gonna paint the deck with the 77 and the bottom rail and try and. I don't know if there's too much I can do where the CA glue is stuck on the side of the tub, unless maybe I was to take the 19 and repaint the tub, and yeah, then I'm going to get the 19 over top of the Steinl-Res, which is supposed to be some sort of dark gray. Yeah, so when everything's in perspective, you don't notice all those mistakes. That's my opinion. Okay, I've got my subject lit a way that I normally don't do. I usually don't have anything backlit. The reason being is that I try to avoid what you're seeing right now. In other words, shine coming off of something that you don't want people to see. And you can see here where the CA glue that we put on a few minutes ago is really glinting. So I'm going to just take some 77 here. I'm just going to sort of flood it on the deck and just go right in behind there. Now I can't see what's happening on the front. I hope it's not going to run down the front of that. And when this dries, oh, I got it on the tub. Okay, might as well catch this little bit of photo etch too. Is there any others? Okay, I think it's going to be okay there. Now I realize that right now it looks worse, but I think once that dries, it'll dry flat, and we're not going to see it. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, it's 1:29 in the afternoon right now. I'm going to call it quits for today's episode, but you might want to stay tuned, and I'm going to attach the photos that Wesley took when he went to see the USS Texas, and they're worth seeing. At least I think they are. So yes, in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we're going to see you tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to do this every time somebody sends me some pictures. However, these were particularly sharp and clear and really well done. And so I'm going to include them. These are Wesley's pictures when he went to visit the USS Texas. Wesley's the one who sent the Texas coffee mug, by the way. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, enjoy. They're going to run about 5 seconds each.